Namaste. Hello everyone. In continuation with the food related videos which we are having, here is one more, but I am sure it's going to be one of the raremost recipe because today we are going to know about one peculiar Indian food item called as buttermilk. It is made up from curd, but those who are not very familiar with the term curd, you can call it yogurt. But basically, there is a difference between traditionally made curd and yogurt made by the manufacturers. So, actually, it's a very simple recipe, but once it is done properly, it has a great effect on many of the diseases. Just to make a quick list, most of the edema or swelling, however you call it here, most of the digestive disorders, we must include this recipe called as buttermilk in the diet of the person. So it has a long list of diseases which can be controlled or even cured just by adding this particular recipe in daily diet. I repeat, the Sanskrit name is takra, can be translated as buttermilk, and it needs only one raw material, that is curd, and we just have to add water and to churn it properly. Traditionally speaking, Indian kitchens used to have an instrument like this, if you can see it in this video, made up of wood, and this is a churner, traditional churner. So what the Indian housewives did in the past, they just added little bit of curd, homemade curd, added little bit of water and churned it well like this. I'll show it to you again, but churned it well like this. And just one process called churning with the help of such an instrument, Ayurveda believes that it brings about a paradigm shift in the efficacy of the material. Now you can look here, the beginning material is curd, but because here we are here in Europe, there is no traditionally made curd available, so yogurt is used. Ayurveda has given a great thought about all the dairy products. In some other videos you must have seen about ghee, and you will see about butter in some other videos. But in this particular episode, let us quickly discuss about curd and then buttermilk. So if you can see here, or later on you may have a photograph of it, curd or yogurt, which everybody knows, but it is not just like that. Ayurveda believes that curd also has medicinal properties. Those who know a little bit of Ayurveda can recollect that curd can reduce vata dosha, curd can increase meda dhatu or fat, and improper use of curd can invite many diseases like obesity and diabetes. Two of the main concerns of today are actually gifted by curd. So Ayurveda thoroughly studies the dairy products, and Ayurveda suggests to process the curd with a simple processing called churning. And if you don't have access to such an instrument, even the Western type of food processor, churner, could be used. But what is important is curd is properly churned. So a properly churned curd is called as takra in Sanskrit, also in Ayurveda. And I repeat, Ayurveda gives great insistence on the medicinal use of takra, that is buttermilk. Now one will be surprised to know why there is such a paradigm shift as far as curd and buttermilk is concerned. So if you can see it here, or you can do it later on at home, if you carefully watch at the curd is thick. To my knowledge, it is called yogurt because it is thick. It comes from a Turkish background, if I am not wrong. And the term yogen in Turkish, but please correct me later on if I am wrong, but the term yogen or yogan in Turkish means something which is thick. So in the past, when the milk used to get fermented, naturally fermented, and used to get thick, I think they started using the term yogurt. You can see it here. This is yogurt, pure yogurt, no flavor or nothing is added. Can you see it here? You can see how solid it is or how thickened it is. Now those who have studied Western sciences, they could relate it to what Western science believes, that the proteins have coagulated and that's why this form, etc. I repeat, Ayurveda studies qualities of the food item. So if you can see it carefully or you can do it at home, there is a solid part, but there is always a tendency to separate watery part of it, if you agree, or you can observe it carefully at home. So Ayurveda believes that the curd has different properties. The watery part of the curd has some different properties. Both are nourishing, but they have some different properties. And if we use a simple instrument like this, a churner, add a little bit of water and make it into a recipe called takra, it comes up as a totally different recipes with many amazing qualities. So I add curd here. This is nothing but curd, pure curd or unflavored yogurt you can call. Ayurveda believes that curd is hot by potency. Ayurveda believes that curd is sour and that's why it will tend to increase what we call as pitta dosha. Because curd is unctuous, sticky, as you can see, it increases the fat or it impures the fat metabolism of the body. That's why obesity and diabetes could be the gifts of improperly used curd. Now, whenever I am saying improperly used curd, some of the viewers will get curious to know what is proper use and what is improper use. So just to quickly mention, Ayurveda says that curd is hot by potency. So obviously it is not to be used in hot seasons. So summer is out of question. Even spring and autumn are out of question, ideally speaking, because curd is hot by potency. Even in other seasons, if at all curd is to be used, Ayurveda recommends that it must be used with by mixing something in it. It may be a little bit of honey, it may be a little bit of sugar, medicinal sugar, not the chemical one, or it may be some of the Ayurvedic medicines like yellow lentil, moog, or it may be some other Ayurvedic medicine like amalaki, the Indian gooseberry. But for sure, curd is to be used with precautions. If not, if precautions are not taken and curd is misused, one can have different types of edemas, swellings on the body, or in long run, one can have obesity or one can even have diabetes. I agree that the Western type of reductionist analysis says that there are many good chemicals in the curd and that's why it's a very good material, which I agree. For example, if you go through the modern Western concept, they say that there are vitamin B related chemicals. There is methionine, which is one of the amino acids, very good, and it's very good for health. So Ayurveda agrees to it. Ayurveda doesn't say that curd is bad because for science nothing is good or bad, but Ayurveda just says that be careful while you use the curd. If you want to use the similar qualities more liberally, convert curd into what is called as takra, buttermilk into Ayurveda. Now there are actually 5 types quoted in the text of making curd into a buttermilk. Curd is dadhi in Sanskrit, buttermilk is takra in Sanskrit. So there are 5 options to convert curd into buttermilk, to convert dadhi into takra by using a churner. First option is, I'll be demonstrating only one, but I'll discuss all the 5. The first option is just churn the curd like this. You have curd, you churn it well and it becomes another product. Second option is, if you can separate the fat out of curd, take the fat out and then churn it, so it will be obviously easier for digestion. Third option is, which we are going to demonstrate very soon, is to add water into the curd and then churn it properly. And again, for adding water and converting into what we call buttermilk, there are two options. One, water in the proportion 1:4. That means if curd is 4 parts, water should be only 1 part. 1/4 or a quarter should be the proportion of water. This is third option. Fourth option is we are allowed, as per the need, we are allowed to use half of the quantity of the curd. That means 50% of the quantity we can use water. Obviously it will be more diluted and it will be easier for digestion. Last option is, which we are not going to demonstrate, but only for medicinal purposes, those who want to know, that there is an option to churn the curd twice. First we churn the curd, then the fat floats. Even the modern physics will confirm. So the fat part floats. We are allowed to take the fat out and then we churn it again. So if we churn the curd 2 times, that's the 5th type of takra. So here today in this episode we will be demonstrating obviously one, and we have selected the middle of the 5 types. That means adding water in the proportion 1:4, because in the beginning we took 1 complete cup of curd, which is approximately 125 mgs, 125 grams. So here we have 30 milliliters of water, approximately 1/4 of the quantity. We will just mix it, and this is the process. Viewers will get really surprised at how a simple process can bring about miraculous changes. But it's very obvious, because Ayurveda is a logical science, so Ayurveda has no ambiguity about its efficacy. Curd was a cause of edema, and if properly churned, we have to churn it till it becomes liquid, total liquid, no solids are left. So when it is properly churned, the end product, the buttermilk, is a medicine for swelling. In addition to that, buttermilk is a medicine for so many other diseases, all the digestive disorders, more particularly amoebic colitis. We can even use it in Crohn's disease, different kinds of diarrheas and dysenteries. Buttermilk is a safe to consume dietary product and also a medicine. Even for many types of hemorrhoids, mind you, not all, but many types of hemorrhoids, buttermilk is a very good medicine. So this is a miraculous, easy to do recipe, can be done at home level. What you need to have is just pure yogurt, unflavored yogurt. You have to add water, either 1/4 or 1/2, and you have to churn. So what is important, the most important is churning. Hello, so I'm here with the buttermilk. As we have discussed, a simple recipe for converting curd into what we call buttermilk. No other content is needed. What we need is pure yogurt, unflavored yogurt, and we add water. There are 2 options: 1/4 proportion of water or 1/2 proportion of water. And churning is important, and just by a simple procedure like churning, you can see curd, which were having solids, some solids and some liquids, can be converted into a completely liquid recipe, which is called as buttermilk. This is not just a magic or a miracle. Ayurveda has some logic behind it, and the logic is that just by a simple process of churning, even the churning induces some fire into it, so it becomes easier to digest. And Ayurveda is all about digestion and digestive fire. So this is much better option for diet compared to curd. That's what Ayurveda believes. It is not that Ayurveda doesn't recognize the medicinal properties of the curd. Curd is also a good medicine. But if we compare critically, buttermilk has far more medicinal properties than curd. As we have been discussing from different episodes, Indian cuisine, Indian kitchens and Ayurveda all are interrelated. So Indian housewives over many centuries, they have added different options. This is the basic recipe, but if you refer to Indian kitchens, you will find that some of them they are adding little bit of salt. Again, I repeat, Himalayan salt or pink salt is the best possible option. But if not, any other salt in small amount, trace amounts, we can add here. Some others they are adding fried cumin seeds or roasted cumin seeds to make it more digestive and more tasty. Anyway, and this is the basic recipe. While concluding, I will just say that with due respect to modern Western sciences, don't consider that this is only converted curd. This is a totally different recipe. If you refer to the modern references, both of them, so to say both of them, curd and buttermilk, will have similar chemical contents. Both of them they have calcium, both of them they have phosphorus, both of them they have a little bit of iron, both of them they have some of the vitamin B group vitamins, some of them, and most importantly both of them they have methionine, which is an essential amino acid which is not abundantly found in cereals and grains. So in Indian purview, if this is added into diet, it supplies the need of methionine. So all these modern Western things are true, but with due respect to that, I would appeal while concluding that buttermilk is much better as far as the health and prevention of diseases is concerned. So thank you. Enjoy your recipe and try it at home for sure. Namaste.